Hey guys, it's been a while. This is a really hard video for us to make. Some things have happened in the past couple of months that, we're not proud of.
No.
That really required us to take a step back and reflect and
Yeah.
reevaluate.
We had to step back and really come together to reevaluate what we wanted to do, because we could not allow ourselves as entertainers to continue in this business without addressing what we've done.
Yeah.
Before we get any further in this video, we want to right up front say that we are unbelievably sorry for what we have done to not only our friend, our partner, friend of the show,
Our mentor.
big mentor of ours. We're a big fan of hers, and from what we've been told, she's a big fan of ours. We can't apologize enough. And we are so sorry for what we have done to Courteney Cox.
For those of you who maybe don't know, maybe you haven't been following, you haven't been keeping up, in late December, early January, we were out to lunch with Courteney Cox. What was it?
It was one of the Italian places.
Yes, it was Italian.
Downtown.
Yeah, I don't remember where exactly it was, but it's a beautiful Italian restaurant.
Oh my god.
And the food was amazing.
Amazing.
But we ordered and we got our meal, and Courteney, she offered to pay, and she always does.
If you guys aren't super familiar with Courteney Cox as a person, she's a giver. She always has been
generous,
super generous, sweet. She is the sweetest woman, and we're always grateful.
Yeah, we're so grateful. But she offered to pay, and we said no. This time we would like to.
We
pay.
got it, Courteney. It's on us.
But she said no. Really, I insist on paying. And so we didn't want to cause a fight, right? So we let her pay. And that made her happy. She's happy to pay. It came time to leave a tip, and this is a nice restaurant, and the bill was well over $100.
Oh yeah, north of 100.
And it came down to time to leave a tip, and she
laid down a $5.
She laid down a $5 bill, and I remember saying to her, I said, "Well, Courteney, that's standard is at least 20%. You can't leave a $5 tip on a meal this expensive. That's
absurd.
It's absurd." And she really dug her heels in. She said, "I'm not leaving a tip of more than $5. I never leave a tip of more than $5. I think it was Andrew, actually, who.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. It was you, right?
No, it was me.
Yeah, it was you. Well, Andrew. God, this is actually really hard to say. Andrew. Well,
I struck deep with this one. I got up on my chair, and this is a pretty well-known restaurant. A lot of people around. I got up on my chair and I said, "Courteney, I know back in the day, you didn't get nominated for an Emmy, and all your friends from Friends, they all got nominated." I said, "I know that you didn't, and I know how that feels. Trust me, I do. I really do. But I know you can still afford at least a $20 tip, right? At minimum, 20. Because the meal was over 100. And at this point, the entire restaurant had kind of... And this part was on me. I'll take the blame for that. I brought a lot of attention to this issue in the restaurant.
Well, to be fair, it's not really entirely your fault.
Well, I didn't leave the $5 tip.
Exactly. I'm saying so. It is, partially you're to blame, but then as well, partially, she's to blame for bringing this on herself, really.
Yeah. Well, little did I know that one of the head writers from the New York Times, they were dining. They were also dining at I won't say the name of the restaurant, but they were there. the reporters, they're always there. You can't get rid of them. They're always documenting. And especially in high class places like this, around A-list celebrities like Courteney Cox. You know, she hasn't left the spotlight in 25 years. She's been forefront, magazines, spread pages, pretty much every single.
Cougar Town.
Is that a magazine?
That's a TV show.
Oh, she was on Cougar Town?
Mm-hmm. She's a star.
Like I said, she's never left the spotlight. So, I don't know what I was thinking, bringing all this bad rep towards her. But, you know, she could have left a bigger tip.
Yeah. And man, you know, I wish we could say that was the end of.
It was really the starting point. It was the tip of the iceberg, and I continue. You know, I'm taking the heat for up to this point. You know, I was up on the chair. In the heat of the moment, I probably, if I were to estimate, I probably had 117 people.
Yeah.
All looking at me in utter disbelief as to what I was saying about Courteney Cox. So I got a chant going. And how did it go?
It was no Emmy, worst friend.
Yeah, it was a rough one. It was like, no Emmy, worst friend. No Emmy, worst friend. Everybody chimed in.
And me included. I'm not going to try and distance myself from this. I'm going to take ownership of what I did. I was involved in the chanting.
Yeah, and, you know, I hate to even start to victim blame, but, you know, I was looking around and I looked down at one point, and I'm pretty sure that I saw Courteney chiming in at one point too.
Well, she was.
She was.
I saw her.
So at that point, I was like, "Oh, maybe she's okay with it." So I kept going and going and going, and from there, well, you want to take the story over?
Yeah. At one point, the crowd got a little rowdy. I mean, people got a little upset, a little agitated. The chant sort of devolved. We were still chanting "No Emmy, worst friend," but the rest of the crowd, they just started chanting "Fuck Monica," right there. "Fuck Monica, fuck Monica," and it became more of a mob, more of an angry mob than just the people eating at a nice Italian restaurant. And they at one point, they sort of swarmed around Courteney, which is when it got really scary.
We were. I was terrified.
That was very terrifying.
I couldn't imagine being Courteney in this situation.
Yeah,
I mean, there were meatballs and spaghetti. Like it was like a lunchroom from a movie.
Yeah, like a real food fight.
Real food fight.
But they were only fighting Courteney Cox.
Yeah,
they were only throwing food at Courteney Cox and not at each other.
And we're talking like meatballs. Not
they're big.
Not meatballs.
Yeah.
I felt horrible.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. And then when they really just started getting really if you thought throwing the food at her was violent, they got violent.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They were at some point she was in the air. They were just sort of tossing her back and forth.
At this point, you know, I had never gotten down from the chair. He had gotten up onto the chair. We were still chanting, and we both kind of instinctively thought, we need to get out of here.
We have to go.
But, you know, we couldn't get to Courteney Cox in time.
No,
there was no way to.
We had to leave her. For our own safety. It became a situation where either we left her or we put ourselves in harm's way in a position where we really could not help her.
And I think if it were either one of us, I think Courtney would have done the same.
I would hope that Courtney would do the same thing. I wouldn't want her. I wouldn't want her to put herself in danger.
Absolutely not.
For my sake. So we left. We left the restaurant and we went out into the parking lot and we got into our car to leave.
Yeah.
We sort of re-arrived there separately from Courtney's. She came separately, obviously.
And we got in the car. We started driving home, and we drove home in silence.
In a shocked silence.
We just needed to decompress from what the hell just happened to Courteney Cox. And the day kind of fizzles to an end, and then later in the week, we got the newspaper, and the headline, they didn't mention either of us. It was only about Courtney. What did it say? It
was Courteney Cox, cheapskate riot.
Yeah, and then the whole article, Courteney Cox cheapskate riot, was just pretty much slander on our good friend Courteney Cox.
I mean, in the article, they went too far. There was a point where they lied. They made some things up that just simply were not true. I mean, they said that she wasn't paying at all, right?
Yeah, they tried to say that she
was under tipping. All right, and we can't absolve her of that.
No, we can't.
But she paid.
She
paid for the meal in full. But the article would lead you to believe that she didn't pay
basically, at all. The article was pretty much making Courtney out to having attempted a dine and dash.
Yeah. Which is not true. She would never.
No.
She would, simply put, she would never do that.
This whole thing might have, well, I don't know. There's really, it's a tricky situation. And, well, we read the article and we knew there was really only one thing for us to do.
Yeah, so we picked up the phone, right? Obviously, we called Courtney.
We had to get to Courtney.
And obviously, the first couple of times that we called, she wouldn't answer,
which is straight to voicemail.
Understandable. Obviously, we did a bad thing.
At this point, I was worried that she wasn't okay.
So we decided we've got to go over to her house.
We have to get to Courtney as soon as we can.
Right. So we made our way to her house. We were listening to the Friends theme song the whole way, just to sort of get ourselves in
the headspace.
So we got there, and we knock on the door. We ring the doorbell. Nobody answers. Mm-mm. We don't think anybody's home. We're worried. We don't know if she's in the hospital. We don't know anything. We have not spoken to Courtney. We have not heard from Courtney up to this point. So we ring the doorbell.
Nobody answers. And we ring, and you're like, oh God, I wonder if somebody read that article, showed up to Courtney's house, broke in, and, did something to her. So we thought, we have to get into this.
We have to get into the house.
So she doesn't have the biggest house.
I mean, it's pretty big.
It's definitely bigger than ours.
Yeah.
But she was on Friends.
Yeah.
It could be bigger.
Yeah. It's not Jennifer Aniston's house.
No, because Courtney didn't win an Emmy or even get nominated.
Yeah. So
we searched the perimeter. It takes us a little while to find an entry point. We actually ended up going through. There was like a screen. I'm not going to tell you guys how to get into Courtney Cox's house. I don't want to get into the situation again. We get into the house, and all the lights are off. You would think we would have thought, oh, nobody's home, but we were scared for the friend of the show, Courtney.
Mm-hmm. So we're really looking around the house. We're searching. And I hear this noise.
We turn the corner, and the noise.
Yeah, we find out the noise. It's barking, right? It's a dog.
It's a running, barking dog,
right?
And we turn the corner into there's this big long hallway.
Mm-hmm.
The lights are off. We look down the hallway, and all we see is the shadow of a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And it was barking. It scared the shit out of me, to be quite frank. and we were caught like deer in headlights. This dog, it came charging at us, and the shadow of it was huge, right? But the closer that it got, we realized the smaller the dog it was.
Yeah.
And it had just the most obnoxious bark.
Oh yeah, it was yapping.
It was yapping. We thought the dog was going to alarm someone. That they would have thought there were burglars in the house, but we weren't burglars.
No,
we weren't taking anything.
We were just concerned friends.
We hadn't taken anything yet.
Yeah.
We were concerned friends for our friend from Friends. And the dog is right as it's one of those, just it'll nip at your heels, and it's just the worst kind of dog, really. And we needed for the dog to be quiet. So you actually reached down, and I was like, Derek, you be careful what you do. Like, I don't want to make you out to be like a dog killer.
I've never killed any dog.
I just said I wasn't going to make you out to be one. He reached down. I thought he was going to kill the dog. I really did. But he just took his big hand.
I have large hands, yeah.
And just, I don't know how the best way to put it is.
Well, I grabbed the dog's
face.
I was sort of holding it, because you've just seen a dog before. I'm holding the dog's mouth closed, right? Because it's barking. I don't want it to. We can't
sound the alarm.
Yeah,
it was the alarm, and it was being sounded.
Right. So I'm holding the dog's mouth closed, and I pick up the dog, and and then I'm thinking at this point, this is probably Courtney's dog.
Yeah. Yeah. I had already put that together.
Yeah.
And I thought you were going to kill Courtney's dog.
No. I would never kill Courtney's dog. Right. I'm not a monster.
No.
But I thought Courtney's maybe in the hospital. Right? This is what I picked. I put this together in my head. I never said this to you, but I had figured Courtney is probably in the hospital.
Yeah.
Right? Things probably got out of hand at the restaurant, and she's probably in the hospital. So I was thinking, she probably misses her dog, and her dog probably misses her. Right? So I had the idea of taking the dog with us to meet Courtney at the hospital. Right? I wanted to take the dog to Courtney.
This is so... and I was on board with this idea, but there was always the thought in my head, this is a really small dog, like purse-sized dog, and you're a large man, you have big hands.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say the thought did not cross my mind that there was going to be an Of Mice of Men situation like Lenny with was it a mouse?
Mm-hmm.
With like Lenny with the mouse from Of Mice and Men,
and Curly's wife as well.
And Curly's wife. Yeah, that is what was going through my mind.
And obviously that did not happen. I didn't snap the dog's neck. I can control myself. I'm not a literary character. So we've got the dog. We leave the house, back through the way that we came in. You don't need to know exactly. But we start going
towards the hospital.
Yeah. And we get to the hospital. We think this is the hospital that Courtney's probably at. We go up to the desk. We're friends of Courteney Cox.
We need to see her.
We need to see her.
As soon as possible.
And they said, Courteney Cox is not a patient at this hospital. Well, that was really confusing because that was like the closest hospital to the restaurant. So we thought if she went to the hospital, that would be there. Where she went to. So we started hitting other hospitals nearby, right? Every hospital, in the area. And we just could not find Courtney. She was not in the hospital, which was I'll tell you what, which is pretty upsetting because we have not heard from Courtney at this point. So I was thinking, no, is Courtney dead?
Yeah. And as we were leaving the last hospital, we were still carrying the dog with us.
Yeah, carrying the dog.
And you were kind of carrying it. You didn't need to keep it from barking anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just carrying it normally, and the dog freaked out a little bit and snapped, bit your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And like any normal human would do, you drop the dog.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, tiny dog, runs super fast, slipped out of our reach, and next thing we know,
We lost the dog.
We lost the dog in New York City.
We lost the dog. And
so at this point, we don't have any contact with Courtney or her dog.
No.
And we're freaking out.
This is scary.
This is scary.
Because we're in a position where we have caused, our friend
so
Courtney
much
Cox.
pain.
And we don't know if she's living. We don't know if she's in the hospital. We don't know what's going on. We have not heard from her. There's this slanderous article that's come out about her.
Yeah.
That's partially our fault, but partially her fault. And now we've lost her dog, right? So we don't know what to do. We don't know what to do.
We don't know who to call. Who do we call the police? Hey, we broke into Courtney Cox's house.
No, we can't do that. That's
we can't
ridiculous.
do that.
So
we have to fend for ourselves in this situation.
So we called Courtney again. And this time she answered.
Yeah.
She answered the call this time.
Thank God she's okay.
Yeah, first off, that was the first question we asked. We said, Courtney, are you okay? Where are you? Are you okay? Are you in the hospital? And she said she wasn't in the hospital. She was at home. And we said, thank God. Thank God she had just gotten home, And, apparently she was out for the day. We'd missed her. Right?
Missed her by,
dog's hair.
By a dog's hair.
We missed her. And she's at home now, but she was freaking out.
Because her dog's gone.
Because she could not find her dog, because her dog was missing. So, we had to tell her.
Courtney, we came by your house. And we hadn't heard from you. We had to make sure you're okay. So we got into your house. And I fibbed a little bit. I had to. I said your dog was crying and it seemed like it really needed you. So we were gonna bring your dog to you and good. What's the saying? It doesn't matter. We were gonna bring Courtney her dog. And that's what I told her. And she was like, well, she clearly wasn't happy.
No. And why would she be, right?
No.
This is a very upsetting situation because we've lost her dog and there's no telling if she's ever going to be able to get it back, right?
Yeah. Big city.
It's a big city. So, she's upset. And I remember I jumped in like an idiot and I said, Courtney, do not worry. We're going to find your dog. We are going to find your dog.
Mm.
Right? So we're looking around. We're going around. We're looking for the dog. Right?
Everywhere. We're saying, I was looking in places that, honestly, I was scared to be in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Alleys, dumpsters.
Yeah. But we're going around and we're calling out the dog's name. What was the dog's name?
Oh, it was something. It was something strange because I felt like such a fool calling it out. It was like here.
It was Choochie.
Was it Choochie?
It was Choochie.
Here, Choochie.
Here, Choochie. When we were yelling Choochie.
I felt silly.
We're running around. We're looking for Choochie. And I remember, oh God, this is the worst part. We found Choochie. He's just sort of he's wandering the sidewalk. He's sniffing the ground. He's eating little bits of trash or whatever. He's a dog,
He's got him.
And we're on the other side of the street. And we see him. We see him from across the street. We get so excited. We yell, Choochie! Choochie! And Choochie looks over at us and he recognizes us because he'd been with us all day, And, I think he started to like us a little bit,
Yeah.
He gets excited. He sees us and he starts running across the street.
So fast.
So fast, but not
fast
enough because a car came by. And Choochie's a small dog and they didn't see him. And
Choochie basically turned into one of the meatballs that was being thrown in the Italian restaurant. So fast. Like we're talking, he didn't suffer.
Yeah. And so Choochie died. So then, God,
we couldn't tell Courtney this.
Honestly. We couldn't.
So we said, Courtney, yeah, we're so sorry. We could not. We looked everywhere.
We just could not.
Find Choochie anywhere.
Which sort of backfired on us when it turned out that she had chipped the dog. She had a little microchip in the dog, so you can find it.
Yeah, and I don't know why she did not tell us that.
Well, I think she might have been about to tell us, but we
Left.
We hung up before.
Yeah.
You know, so we're calling her. We're telling her that we cannot find the dog, and we're just sitting there. We're in awe. You know, we're just standing there. We hadn't even moved from the spot when we saw Chuchi get
his smeared.
You know,
just like the pasta was.
So then, a couple minutes later, after we call her, we tell her that we can't find the dog, and she tells us not to worry about it because she's got the dog chipped. She gets there. I mean, she's driving. You know, she's in her car. Well, she has a driver, but you know, she gets there.
Yeah, she's Courteney Cox,
and she sees the dog obliterated in the street.
She sees what was the dog.
And she sees us
staring at what
once was Chuchi,
and what now looked like the pasta that was smeared on Courteney Cox's baby blue dress at the Italian restaurant.
And God, I'll never forget this moment when she rolled down the window and she looked at us and she pointed out the window and she said, "I will never forgive you. I will never forgive you."
So, this has been just raking our minds since January.
I mean, it's been a whirlwind.
So
really.
We are making this video simply to ask Courteney Cox, please forgive us.
Please. We've done a lot. We've done a lot of wrong, and we've caused you a lot of pain.
We've done a lot of damage, Courteney, and we are so sorry.
I mean, I lose sleep every night. I don't know about you, but
I have dreams. I have dreams. I'm calling out.
I'm not even
Chuchi.
dreaming. I'm just
Chuchi, come here,
lying
Chuchi.
awake at night
and then
thinking about Chuchi. I'm thinking about the pasta. I'm thinking about the meatballs. I'm thinking about the chanting. I'm thinking about all of it. I'm thinking about breaking into Courteney Cox's house, and I can't fucking sleep anymore.
I just get the image of Chuchi getting hit over and over and over and over on repeat in my head, over and over. And each time he looks more and more like the pasta from the Italian restaurant.
Oh, God.
Courteney. This it's tearing us apart.
Yeah, I mean it's become a thing where there's really
and this is the lack of content. It comes back to this because you know it's hard for us to work together sometimes
because every time I look at him I see Chuchi.
Yeah.
So,
Courteney Cox,
if you can find it in your heart
to forgive us,
you know,
please. Do you have anything else you want to say?
I just want to say sorry.
I'm so sorry to Courteney and Chuchi.
Chuchi. Also, I stole some of her jewelry while we were in the house.
You know, all of this all could have been avoided if Courteney just would have tipped more.
Yeah, I mean, really,
it's
$5.
$5 on it's her fault.
It was like less because it was well over $100.
Yeah.
That bill was that's less than a 5% tip. That's actually ridiculous.
Yeah, it's Courteney's fault, and honestly,
if you really think about it,
I felt a little silly apologizing to her for it.
Oh, you felt silly? I mean, I felt a little bad about Chuchi.
Chuchi,
I don't think Chuchi should have been involved in this. I think it's really not his fault.
No, but
it's Courteney's fault that Chuchi was involved.
Yeah.
If anything, I want to apologize to Chuchi a lot more than I would apologize to Courteney, because Courteney brought this on herself. I mean, really,
oh, shit, we're still recording.
Oh shit.